The first time I met Emily, my son's fiancée, I knew something wasn't right. She had that kind of smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, the kind that said, "I'm pretending to like you because I have to." I'm Thomas, 72 years old, a retired carpenter who raised my son, Michael, alone after his mother passed away. Every nail I drove and every wall I built was for him. So when he brought home Emily, saying she was the one, I wanted to believe him. At first, she played nice, brought cookies, complimented my old house, called me Dad. But I could see her eyes scanning every inch of my modest living room like it was beneath her. Then came the day she dropped the act. It was 2 weeks before the wedding. I was at Michael's house, holding the wedding invoice folder. I'd already paid for the venue, catering, and even the honeymoon, over $85,000 in total. My late wife's savings. Emily waltzed in wearing a silk robe and said sharply, "Thomas, you don't need to worry about attending the ceremony." I looked up, startled. "Why not?" She crossed her arms. "Because your presence will ruin the wedding." I laughed softly, thinking she was joking. "Ruin it? How could I ruin your wedding?" She smirked. "You don't fit in with our guests. They're different, influential people. It's going to be a luxury event, not a backyard barbecue. You'll make everyone uncomfortable." Her words stung deeper than she could ever imagine. "I'm his father," I said quietly. "I have every right to be there." She shrugged, her tone dripping with mock sympathy. "Then maybe you should watch it live online." "We're setting up a stream." Michael walked in just as she left the room, and I could tell she'd already poisoned his mind. He wouldn't even meet my eyes. "Dad, maybe it's best if you just stay out of this one," he said softly. That night, I sat alone at my kitchen table, the same table where I once taught Michael to read, to fix a chair, to be a man. My hands trembled as I looked at the receipt book, all the money I'd given, all the love I'd poured into raising him, and I realized how easily that woman had erased me from my own son's life. I didn't sleep that night, but by dawn, I knew exactly what to do. 3 days before the wedding, Emily called me. "We need the final payment for the venue, Thomas. The balance is $25,000. Can you transfer it today?" I smiled into the phone. "Of course, dear. I'll take care of everything." But instead of sending a payment, I made a few phone calls. I had arranged and paid for everything, which meant every contract was in my name. Venue, catering, decorations, music, even the photographer. That evening, I went to the venue office. The young manager, a polite fellow, recognized me right away. "Mr. Carter, we're just about ready for your son's wedding." "Not anymore," I said firmly. "I'm canceling everything. Effective immediately." He blinked in shock. "Sir, may I ask why?" "Because," I said, "the bride thinks I'll ruin her wedding. So I'm making sure there isn't one to ruin." The manager hesitated, then nodded. "Understood. We'll refund the remaining balance to you directly." By nightfall, every vendor had been notified. I even called the luxury resort in Bali, where they were supposed to honeymoon, and canceled that too. The next day, my phone exploded with messages from Michael. "Dad, what did you do? Emily's furious. The venue says everything's canceled. Please tell me this is a mistake." I didn't answer. "Not yet." But then Emily called, her voice dripping with venom. "You vindictive old man! How dare you cancel my wedding?" I let her rant, and when she finally paused, I said calmly, "You told me I'd ruin your wedding, Emily. I was just saving you from the disaster you predicted." There was silence, and then she screamed and hung up. Later that night, Michael came to my house, pale and furious. "Dad, you've humiliated me. You've destroyed everything." "No, son," I said quietly, looking him in the eyes. "She destroyed us the moment she told me I wasn't good enough to be part of your life." He fell silent. "She saw you as a wallet, Michael," I continued, "not as a man. And once my money ran out, so would her love." He didn't want to hear it. He stormed out, slamming the door so hard that the windows rattled. A week passed. I didn't see or hear from him. I thought I'd lost my son forever. Then, one evening, A knock came at my door. It was Michael, his suit wrinkled, eyes red. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "She left," he said simply. "The moment she found out you canceled everything, she packed her bags. Said I wasn't ambitious enough. She was only with me because she thought you were rich." He sat down at the kitchen table, the same one where everything began, and buried his face in his hands. "I'm sorry, Dad. I should have trusted you." I placed a hand on his shoulder. "Son, love built on greed always collapses. I didn't ruin your wedding. I saved your future." He looked up, tears in his eyes. "Can you ever forgive me?" I smiled softly. "You're my son, Michael. There's nothing to forgive." We sat together for hours that night, talking like we hadn't in years. The rift between us began to heal, one word at a time. Months later, Michael met someone new, a kind-hearted teacher named Sarah, who treated me like family from the moment we met. When they decided to marry, it was in a small garden with 20 guests and a simple lunch. This time, when I walked my son to the altar, he squeezed my hand and whispered, "You're the reason I didn't make the biggest mistake of my life." I smiled, feeling my late wife's presence in the breeze. Sometimes, doing the right thing doesn't make you the hero. It makes you the villain in someone else's story. But in the end, truth always reveals who was really ruining what. And that's how I, an old carpenter, made sure my son's wedding didn't happen. Because it wasn't the wedding he needed.